Hello to the two fans and welcome. This is Chicago.ted coming to you with another episode of the Golden Aegis cast series. This is going to be replay ID number 1540312320. So, thank you for the donation for this game, and I hope you enjoy the show. So, let's get the play going. Let's get myself some free camera, and let's get this rolling. Alright, so for this game, it's going to be for the Dire team. Piece of Shih Tzu on the Shadow Fiend, with PA is gay on the Disruptor, Forever playing the Medusa with Mr. Aikio on the Priestess of the Moon, the Marana, and Kafka going to be playing the Meepo. Meanwhile, for the Radiant team, it's going to be Groudor on the Lone Druid with Dota V Cookie of Egg on the Ricky. What a name there. Furily 2000 DGSXK. Oh god, that's going to be the Pudge with Kirito Knight on the Slark. And I'm missing one. There he is. JSML 9813 playing the Chaos Knight. So, looking like we got the makings of a dual mid going on here with Furily and Kirito hanging out. Now, it is a Pudge, and recently Pudge has been playing more in the offlane position, and given his build, I imagine that might be what he's doing. You know, the clarity to allow him to at least sort of spam hooks as well as plenty of regeneration. Slark going for the boots first, though, which is kind of throwing me off a little bit here, because that's typically what an offlaner would start to build. And actually, it looks like that is exactly what's going to happen. Slark making his way up north with the boots first, and Pudge will be playing the mid lane. But they're throwing out a little bit of harass on the little fish, but it looks like, like Dark Reef, he'll escape from that. Mr. Aikio and PA is going to be supporting the top lane, the Medusa. Oh boy, now this is a fun one. Typically, this is actually a very typical starting build for the Medusa, the Ring of Protection first. Sometimes you'll see the Medusa also go for a Magic Wand or a Magic Stick first and build on a Magic Wand as the arrow. Oh man, comes through all the way onto Kirito Knight. Though JSML is close by. PA's case actually taking a lot of damage from this. They've got the Mystic Snake, but doesn't go very far. 2 seconds. He needs one more slap, but he gets blocked by the creeps. He's moving too fast, though. He'll get first blood. JSML will bash PA's gaze head in. Maybe friends with PA wants to get revenge for the trash talk. I don't know. But that's a bit of a problem. And, I mean, a little over commitment coming out from the PA. It just doesn't really work out for her in the end, or not from the PA, from the Disruptor. It doesn't really work out from him in the end, and rather unfortunate, but the Radiant will be quite happy to grab first blood there, and especially this lane. You've got kind of a dual core lane going on here, which doesn't exactly fare too well in any normal lane situation. I mean, Chaos Knight's going to burn through his mana really quickly. Has himself a Clarity, which will help out, though. Speaking of Clarity, as we mentioned thoroughly, going up against Piece of Shih Tzu, who started out with an initial Wraith Band, and now he's sitting at 300 gold, just about. It doesn't look like... No, he's not putting anything in the courier yet, so he's just either, if he's going for a bottle, and he went for a really greedy starting build or whatnot, but it's going to take a little bit for him to finally get that up. Meanwhile, that opens up a lot of space for Furily with all of this regen to just be incredibly aggressive, but for now is actually holding back quite a bit. Looking for the hook, can actually throw it out right now. Oh, he really wants it. He's throwing it. He's got it. Pulls in Piece of Shih Tzu, grabs him close to Under Tower, but not quite. And now Furily is just going to go ahead and try to click him down, but the creeps are there. Now with the raise, he just needs one last attack, but he doesn't do it. The salve will get him, and the final raise is out of range. So the salve will continue also with a Clarity. And that'll actually force Piece of Shih Tzu back quite a bit. He's only got the 4 tangos, so if he gets close to lane, one more hook will be the death of him, and it looks like he doesn't even need it. He goes right behind, and Piece of Shih Tzu is very close to being dead. The hook will fly through, and that'll be a dead Shadow Fiend. And this secures a bottle for Furily as well, which, I mean, a bottle and an extra 300 gold. Unfortunately, they don't have a courier, so that really doesn't make life any easier, and he could actually get screwed out of lane because of that. But we'll just take it as it is right now. It's a pretty okay start for this Pudge, granted, and actually might have a rotation coming in from Cookie of Egg. Looking for the jump onto Piece of Shih Tzu. But for right now, Pudge is all the way back. He's got to go back to base. As we mentioned, just not faring too well with the lack of courier. And That's going to end up being a pretty big issue for him, but Ricky will take this absence and use it to grab himself a lot of good experience. And of course, this ends up being very useful for him, considering he's got to get that level 6 up very quickly. That basically is half of his damage output right there, is being able to blink onto someone and instantly backstab. Trevor might be in a little bit of trouble, though. Top lane, the arrow will fly through, but it won't connect. And now they grab Mr. Aikio. They rift him back in just to secure this one, but he's got no leap, no mana. And so now they'll continue chasing, maybe on to Forever. Do they have another leap? 7 seconds. Doesn't look like they want to waste the time to spend it. Instead, will back themselves off and regroup. Meanwhile, oh no, Fury again on the piece of Shih Tzu will make his way right on in, hooks him right back. They go under tower, but they don't care. One more backstab from Cookie of Egg, and they will grab that kill. So Fury will make his way up to the top lane, and that'll be it for now. I mean, getting himself another couple of kills, that's really making things useful for him. Although it actually looks like, oh no, Cookie of Egg got the illusion rune. All right, that's a bit of a problem here. Fury? No, I don't know if he saw that teleport, and I don't think the creeps are on the high ground, so maybe not. Ikea, or Kafka is there, rather, just to try to help out the Shadow Fiend a little bit, but what is he really doing? He went Tranquil Boots first, which leads me to believe this is sort of a support Meepo pick, but, I mean, I'm not sure where its effectiveness will come from. PA's game, meanwhile, will get a good glimpse back onto Fury, will preserve his life, but he gets away at 36, just about. HP, which, I mean, will force him back to base, so a little bit of a win for him, or a win for the Pudge, rather. Doesn't get the kill, but it actually is wasting a lot of time, too, so maybe it evens out. Sending the Disruptor back to base only for your rotation is not great, I guess. He's level 5.5, but he's already been dominating the Shadow Fiend enough that Shadow Fiend hasn't surpassed him in experience. And gold, I think... yeah, the Pudge is still beating him quite handily, almost doubling his net worth. Which, I mean, is really good. You're a Pudge. That's exactly what you want to be doing. You want to be dominating this mid lane. Now Mr. IKU on the top lane. They'll smoke screen with Kurito and JSML. They've got plenty of supporting cast to bring down the Mirana. And, of course, they don't get their Medusa. She still has not died in this game. She is only sitting at 10 CS, which lower on the board, only the second highest for anyone with actual CS. So, I mean, very slow on this Medusa. Probably going to be a very difficult game for her. I think she's going to ride on the pigtails of Shadow Fiend, or at least as much as she can, because even Shadow Fiend has been getting pretty much sat down in this mid lane. And the bottom lane, you don't look to that to see to be effective lane. I mean, what do we got here? A Meepo with Tranquil Boots and a Disruptor. They're going to have a lot of time, even putting a little bit of a dent on a Grotto, who also is going for these Tranquil Boots. So figuring he can do most of his damage with his bear, letting his main hero regenerate up for the majority of the time being here. And that just means it makes him really hard to harass, really hard to throw out a lane. All he has to do is sit far behind, use his bear to get the gold. He's already in experience range, and I mean, this just doesn't make it any easier. His bear with the Overvenom, PA is taking a lot of damage, and I mean, Crowder is also level 6, so one more level, and he's going to have the level 3 Spirit Bear, which has a chance to root or tangle, whatever. Onto, oh, hold on, Kappa's going to go in. He'll go into Shapeshift. I'll give him a little extra strength, but in comes Piece of Shih Tzu. They've got the whole cast down here. They want Kafka. Cookie of Egg trying to get revenge, but he isn't level 6. He can't Blink Strike.
They just...
Meanwhile, a hook in, and Mr. Aikio. Was that right after the... Yep, that was right after the trash talk. Oh, man. It's almost poetic there. Actually, I don't even know if that was trash talk or not, if that was just a steady, comment on the situation, but still another kill going away at Pudge, but just like that, Piece of Shih Tzu will find his own. Now, the issue with Shih Tzu is that he doesn't have any stacks in his jungle, so that he can go back and raise down and find some quick and easy farm. Rather, he's got to make these rotations work and then go to the jungle to try to get single camps. Because what's going to happen right now is if he starts to hit a slow point, he doesn't just have that option to go and farm. He's got to take the slower route and, of course, either stay in lane and hope that it pushes back to you, or farm single camps, which, in terms of time efficiency, really doesn't end up being that good. So, and of course, the argument can be made that he could be stacking for himself as well, which I know I would agree with, but For right now, he's looking for a kill, and he might actually die here. They've got Pudge in as well. The Radiant staging a counter gank. IQ and Forever are showing up front. They find JSML, but aren't going to make a go. Instead, this rotation from Furily starting to show up to be a little fruitless. Same with Piece of Shih Tzu. They come in, the 1 second stun on Forever, dealing a decent sum of damage. And Furily, he reveals himself by going through the trees, and looks like he is way out of position here. He'll pop the Rot. They've got the Raise. They don't combo it up quite well enough, and Mystic Snake coming through. That should be a kill. One more right click from the Murano. No, he bottles! So he will get away with 30 HP. Dear Lord, now teleport from Cookie of Egg. Makes his way up top. I guess just to, again, to fill in the gaps in the Radiant's lanes right now. As, actually, no, we haven't seen a Exodus from either JSML or a Corito Knight. Corito being level 6, he can just sit in the trees and regenerate, but JSML is not quite as lucky. And he hasn't really built into anything regeneration related either. I mean, we're talking about a hero with a high base attack HP pool. I mean, he's built up with a Strength, Power, Tries, and the Bracer, but pretty pitiful HP regen. So he takes a little bit of harass in lane. It goes a long way. Even though he's got decent armor, it doesn't work out that well for him. Although what he could do is, I mean, a Helm of the Iron Will is a really great item for him in lane. It looks like with the Blaze of Attack, he will be going for the Armor, which is essentially along the same lines. And now with the rotation, Real Knight will be glimpsed back with the Bears still in. They'll try to go for the proof combo on the Bears, but he will go in and get the root on a Kafka. Corito Knight coming right back in. This should be a kill on Meepo. PA's Gay is actually really close as well. If they kill Meepo, they are most certainly killing this Disruptor. So they'll get one. Corito, he's looking for the next, and they'll find it, with the Dark Pact being the damage through the trees that they need. Meanwhile, up top, JSML will find one. Can he find a second? Only 14 seconds for Reality Rift, which will secure IQ's escape, but they grab Forever. And that's a big kill for them. They really want to grab this Medusa. The hook! Aikio gets pulled right back into the fray, and Furily will bring down the leaping Murana. You're a little slippery, but not slippery enough for the Butcher. Nothing escapes his bloodthirsty knives there. Mass pings coming down from Piece of Shih Tzu. They could totally grab him right now. All they need is a lasso or a root, and they will get the root. Piece of Shih Tzu is dead. Corito Knight will grab this kill. And you gotta respect the bear. Or most importantly, the two bears. What do we call them? Entangling claws. It looks more like a root. Whatever. Corito Knight will not pop into Shadow Dance just to preserve his life a little bit. He'll regen very quickly, too. Has a magic wand, which heals him up for a pretty decent sum. Although now he's pretty much locked in place. No help from the Lone Druid. He'll pretty much be dead, but the Entangling claws are, goddamn, I'll just call it a root. It will grab Kafka, if only for a short amount of time. Won't end up netting him a kill, though. In the end, it's going to be a sort of a one-for-one, kind of a elongated fight in the bottom lane. Grotto with these Tranquil Boots will be quite fine to just sit back and regenerate. Well, the bear will go up and try to CS mid lane. Cookie of Egg looking for Piece of Shih Tzu. They'll get the hook again! Purely on top of this. And so, another death for the Shadow Fiend, another kill for the Pudge. Hasn't even put any points in Flesh Heap yet, but he's easily got about 4 to 5 stacks, which at level 1 is a nice, cool 4 extra strength, but that's not what we care about. We care about the 2.5 per when he hits it up to level 4. So. Also, you know, an extra 6% magic resistance is always a nice thing to have, especially against heroes like Shadow Fiend, Murana, Meepo, like everything, aside from the Medusa. So now with the Haste Druid, Cookie of Egg will make his way down. Looking for one of the two down here. Groudor with no mana might be the easier target, but both of them are tough. And so, even with that Haste Druid, it looks like Furily and Corito will back themselves away, maybe back towards mid lane. Furily, can he get another hook? This one's on 2 targets, so maybe it's a little easier, but
structures must have been fortified.
Looks like he won't quite find the line he needs. Instead, backs himself off. Corito is in there as well as Cookie of Egg. Still looking for these kills, still looking to stack up more and more flesh on the Butcher. Make his way back around. This time he walks over an Observer Ward, but will it be enough to keep Piece of Shih Tzu out of harm's way?
Radiant's mid towers
It looks like it will. Kafka and Piece of Shih Tzu have taken the other way around, although Forever will be spot out by Cookie of Egg.
Radiant's mid tower could use a
Makes
hand.
way back up to the top lane. We'll walk right underneath the nose of JSML. And this could be trouble for the Lady Snake. As Pudge will make his way around as well. They do have an Observer Ward, but they only spot out Carino. The hook will fly through again and forever. Locked in place. This should be a pretty simple kill for them. And Furily with another Flesh Heap stack. Again, still not leveled, but it'll be coming soon. Meanwhile, Piece of Shih Tzu looks like he's aggressively farming the Radiant's jungle, but still the conundrum of no stacks. He doesn't care. He's just going ahead, racing down. Even Mud Golems who take reduced magic damage will not be safe from the tri-combo. Level 3 raids too, so they do a pretty respectable amount of damage. 250 per. That's a 750 magical damage burst if you can hit all 3. So Kafka is sitting in the mid lane. Shadow Fiend is actually, if he walks back around, he'll find a double damage rune, which could open them up to taking a fight. Pudge, though, will be underneath an Observer Ward. PA is gay with level 4 Glimpse, will glimpse him right back in. Now with the Static Storm, he is locked in place. They've got Meepo and Kafka with the net. Number 1, number 2. Now they'll hook in. Maybe they can bring down Shih Tzu, but it looks like not. Cookie of Egg locked in as well. He's got the smoke screen down, but it's not going to help him at all. And so a 2-0. Maybe they can even find Carito. Carito's actually looking for the kill on Piece of Shih Tzu. Needs one more. There's going to be a Stone Gaze, but Carito will still grab the kill. Gets sent back. The Stone Gaze is connecting, but not enough time. He'll still go down. Gets caught in the net. And ends up being a 3-for-1. I think well worth it for the Dire, as they pull back quite a decent sum of cash from that one. I mean, the net worth advantage was about 5,000 in the Radiant's favor. Experience, about 3,000 now. About a 1,000 experience, 1,000 gold swing from that fight. So nothing too major, but still, we got to keep our eye on this. The Dire definitely have a really good lineup in. Although the Radiant have a pretty good lineup for single target damage. I mean, you can look at the Riki, you look at the Slark. The Dire have a lot of what can come to be really tanky heroes. I mean, all 3 of them, the Meepo, the Medusa, the Shadow Fiend, they all start out looking very squishy, but you consider where they build into. I mean, both Medusa, all 3 of them actually, build very heavily into stats. So we take a look, and it becomes almost unreal how tanky these guys get. I mean, we talk about builds like the Mechanism on the Shadow Fiend, and the Sanjin Yasha maybe build, or the Eye of Skadi on the Medusa, or the Shadow Fiend both. I mean, all 3 of them actually build Eye of Skadi as well, so heavily prioritizing stats is what these guys would end up doing, which, given this game, it's going to be a real issue for the Radiant to end up doing any damage. I mean, Lone Druid and Chaos Knight can both output, actually all 3 of them can output a piece of the damage, and all Piece of Shih Tzu will get caught in, and I mean, we talked about he becomes tanky, but he's not quite as tanky right now. A glimpse back, PA's gate will be fine for now, but in comes, oh wait, no, Kafka will help out his Disruptor. Now in Moonlight Shadow, Carito's got to back himself away. Do they have another net? They do not. Oh wait, no, they do have one from the back. Nepo, 30 seconds, and they've got one from the front, but they'll back themselves away. PA is gay.
Guess what's
Getting scouted by the Riki illusion, which also has invisibility, so pretty much free wards wherever they go.
The Dire best do something about that
So
bottom
it looks like the
tower.
Dire will lose
No
their bottom
breaking
tier 1
through the
tower. Of
Dire's
course, a little
structures
late,
for now.
17 minutes for a Lone Druid to be thinking about bringing down a tier 1, but I mean, he's got a pretty free lane, so controlling the creep wave and getting as much gold out of it as possible, probably the better option for him. He's also got Vlad to help out his bear a lot to regenerate. And actually looks like they want to grab Grotto, but he's moving way too fast. The bear as well, moving very quickly. So they'll get away from the grasp of Kafka. And although looks like he got very close, the net, the ensnare, the earthbind was not able to connect. So the Dire will go right back to farming the Radiant. Still looking very aggressive, looking for these kills, but the major issue with that is you can take a look at the CS board, and
Radiant's top
because the
tower is
Dire have been taking a
hits.
step back and farming the map and
Radiant's
trying to
toughened up
prioritize
their
getting that gold,
structures.
you can see their CS is a lot higher than anyone else. And
Radiant's
to
top
reflect that,
tower's
I
in
mean, their
bad
net worth
shape.
isn't great, but they're climbing. We're not seeing a complete dichotomy, which we usually see with games like this being, you know, a very heavy aggressive game from one side and the other
Radiant's
side playing
top
constantly
tower's in
scared.
bad
No,
shape.
they're farming. Meanwhile, okay, well, they were farming, and then Piece of Shih Tzu gets taken down again. an issue,
Dire's
yes,
bottom
but
tower's getting the business.
he wasn't their highest net worth anyway. We're looking at the Medusa trying to bring this one back, and Grotto will get brought down the bottom lane. That's a huge plus for the Dire, being able to grab that quick and easy kill. That'll actually send Kafka up pretty high on the net worth board. They'll deny their tower, which gives a little bit of bonus to the Radiant, but overall, it's a pretty big hit, the fact that they got that denied. And now, oh, hold on, Furley. This could be a big kill here if they can get it. And Kafka looks like he will be there, setting that one up. Ikea was close by as well as PA is gay, but they're probably not going to get a lot of experience from that one, just, well, because Meepo, it splits up, ends up being split between 5 instead of 3. Meepo getting 3 shares of that 5. Forever will make his way down bottom, though, to help out with this push. They want to get a tier 1 tower, maybe even go for more. They've got a giant push lined up for this one. Cookie of Vecto is coming in from behind. Piece of Shih Tzu, though, is close by. They actually spot out Cookie. If they can Earthbind, they can keep him in vision, but instead they pop the dust. Moving slow, way too slow to get away. He'll get brought down. Meanwhile, Kirito Knight, he actually got hit by the dust as well. They've got him. They can find him. One last right click from Piece of Shih Tzu to come through. And just like that, almost at the flick of a wrist, at the snap of a finger, Meepo now at the top of the net worth. And Piece of Shih Tzu is starting to climb, as well as Forever. Both are looking all right, but just like that, Furley will bring down PA's Gay. It is a disruptor kill, so I guess not the best thing in the world for him, but he still gets some extra flesh heap. He will be able to buy his Blink Dagger now. And at 20 minutes, that's ultimately not that bad. Meanwhile, okay, JSML is playing the Lone Druid game, except he's not the Lone Druid, popping the Phantasm just to bring down towers. And even though they do full damage, they do a little bit of reduced damage because, well, towers, you know, that interaction with illusions, but still a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Furley looking for Piece of Shih Tzu, but they've got the Stone Gaze in. He gets stunned up, but not gazed, and they'll still bring him down. Meanwhile, Piece of Shih Tzu will get brought by Kirito Knight. Still looking for Forever. He's also got the Shadow Blade, which will help him out chase this one a bit. Maybe Aikio, though, is going to be his target. He'll go in for the one final slap. Nope. In comes JSML, though. That'll set it up, and they'll bring down the Mirana. Meanwhile, Forever is locked in the middle of place. Doesn't have a Stone Gaze anymore, so he's now in a really poor position. And it looks like the Medusa finally, well, actually for the 3rd time this game, will be brought down. Buys out the recipe to Lincoln Sphere, and then calls it a day. And so Kafka, in the midst of all this, moving around his lone hero, he's got a Blink Dagger, so looking still for kills, looking to be aggressive. He is no longer the top of the net worth, as Chaos Knight was able to bring down that kill on the Medusa. And we're still going to pause for this? No, it looks like not. All right. So as I say that, I think JSML has disconnected for this game, if only for a short amount of time. It will open up a little space. Him being the top of the net worth, it's real troublesome, the fact that he is actually away from this game, giving a lot of space for the Dire to catch up and farm. Meanwhile, Furley looking for PA's Gay will blink forward, and that should very well be a dead disruptor. They're also coming in with Kirito Knight. So, yeah, I mean, he actually, yeah, it looks like Pudge didn't get a flesh heap stack for that one just because of the glimpse back. So, a Pyrrhic victory at most, but still quite happy to have that little extra bit of positive nature to that game. So the score will end up being 22-12 at 22 minutes. The experience in Gold Graphs, well, they're still in their Radiant's favor, but they haven't gotten any worse than they were about 5 or 10 minutes ago. I mean, we could take a look. They still have that limit, that upper bound of about 3,500 experience, of about 5,000 gold. Arrow will fly through. The hook, though, will bring in Mr. Aikio. The arrow actually connects in the JSML, but they can't do anything about it. Now Kafka will back himself out. They're looking for more. They're looking for Piece of Shih Tzu. He's actually got a haste rune on the Furley. This is a very, very dead Shadow Fiend. He's going to raise once, but, I mean, oh, actually gets a Requiem. Turns it right around. Kafka comes in as well as Forever. They're looking for more. Kirito going to dive right back, but they want JSML. Kirito still trying to find Piece of Shih Tzu. Gets slowed down by the Stone Gaze. He'll blink forward. He wants a last swipe. Can he find it? It looks like, oh, he should be able to. Meanwhile, Ricky will get brought down. Finally, Shih Tzu will take a fall, but Kafka actually got brought down. Forever now on the run. Kirito Knight with no leap available, will not be able to take down forever. In fact, there was a Moonlight Shadow popped. But that was a really interesting fight. 2 separate fronts on that one. And 4 kills in total happening throughout the course of it. So taking a look at some items that we got here. It looks like PA is gay. He's got the Urn of Shadows. But we've also got a Force Staff that looks like he's being built onto him. Groudor, after that Vladimir's offering, is now building towards a Skull Basher. Though the bear, still pretty weak. I mean, once he gets that Basher, it will be hitting a lot harder. We can see Cookie of Egg struggling to find the Diffusal Blade here. We'll find it soon, though. Groudor is actually chasing a piece of shit, too, but will get glimpsed back so his bear can no longer attack if it continued. So he'll get forced. Furiously, with an Urn of Shadows of his own. He'll also have a Blink Dagger, so looking all right on the farm. Corrido Knight with the Vladimir's offering and a Shadow Blade. A lot of Vlads in this game, a lot of Urn of Shadows. Corrido, though, he's hunting. Looks like he finds Sun Tzu or Shih Tzu, but oh, that's going to be Furiously. The arrow will catch him straight into his back. And all that flesh won't protect him from the stun. He'll get brought down, locked into place with multiple crowd controls, whether the Earthbind or the Kinetic Field, doesn't matter. They really wanted that Pudge, and they got him. Now movement in towards the mid lane. We'll see whether or not it amounts to anything. Forever will make his way in as well, trying to get that Lincoln Sphere as soon as possible, but it's still a good 600 gold off. Meanwhile, Ikea will blink forward, very aggressively so. He won't have that blink for a couple of seconds now. 22 actually, it's a level 1 blink. The arrow will come through. JSML gets hit about a 3-second duration, and they'll get a Kinetic Field, which will lock him right in place, but the smoke screen goes down with the silence. So Reality Rift forever in, now with a Static Field, or Static Storm rather. JSML in a little bit of trouble, but he's got the armlet. Meanwhile, Kafka with the Poofs will now get rid of Cookie of Egg as Corrido Knight finds him. Mr. IQ on the backlines. Groudor trying to run, but another Kinetic Field will lock him back. And they've got the Earthbinds, they've got the Geo Strikes, and all that slow, all that lockdown. They're able to bring him down. Meanwhile, Kafka might need to teleport himself out of there, but actually has the Poof, but he won't go for it. Instead, he'll get brought down. Furiously right in nature for that kill as well. Now PA is gay in a lot of trouble. Another leash. And PA is gay still alive, but the leash lasting a little long. And Furiously, okay, he'll plot forward with the hook. Grabs the extra flesh heap. Now sitting at 11. And a pretty decent fight for the Dire team, all things considered. The Radiant. I mean, I guess in the end, it did still favor the Radiant a little more. We can take a look at the graphs, and okay, maybe not. The Dire do take what appears to be a stagnated exchange off of that one fight, but it is closer to the Dire, closer to equilibrium than I think the Radiant would like, and I think the Dire are quite happy with that. To be perfectly honest, like, keep the Radiant from snowballing out of control this game, and that'll be the game plan. I mean, if you get cut, you don't want to just try to heal it immediately. I mean, it takes time to heal. You want to make sure that it doesn't bleed out as much so that the timeline of healing and what the final result will be is much more favorable. So it's still going to bleed out, but you want to consolidate. You want to stop that from happening as much as possible. And so that's exactly what the bat will be doing, controlling the bleeding and even starting the stitching. Looks like the Radiant, though, JSML and Groudor will make their way down towards bottom. The two really good pushers on this team. JSML, all he has to do is pop Phantasm. They can destroy a tower, but saving it for fights at this point in time would probably be the better option for him, just because of the amount of damage that they can output. And looks like they will start to push this one, will start to try to take it down, but a quick rotation comes in from the Dire. They've also got the blink on Kafka. He'll blink behind them. They're going to go out with the Stone Gaze. Reality Rift from JSML, though, pulling him even further into the action, actually, which will secure his demise. And now that clips back on the Groudor, which should mean the death of him. Meanwhile, Furiously will find Muran on the backlines, but Groudor still alive. Do they have another blink coming up soon? It looks like they do. He'll blink forward, but it's going to be the razes that actually find him. The Earthbind not going to be enough, and Groudor moving way too quickly here. He's also got his bear up. Oh, the glimpse. They find him. And that, I mean, he just needs to accept his fate at this point in time. The hook, though. Fury looking to trade this one. Cookie of Egg is in close by as well. They've got the dust, though, to try to spot him out. The Earth binds, though, not connecting. One more blink forward, one more right click. Cookie of Egg will get the kill, but he dies because of it. The one downside to Blink Strike is that you land right on top of him. And when the Requiem goes, you do not want to be right on top of him. So, at this point in time, about 30 minutes into this game, 30-20 will be the score. And the Dire is still taking a decently favorable engagement, though the Pudge is doing his job to try to keep this from getting too far out of control. I mean, he is finding kills 1-2 every single engagement they've got, but that's going to start getting a lot harder for him as heroes start getting tankier and tankier. I mean, even Forever would be a tough kill for him to solo out.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
Looks like Courier Knight, though, his Shadow Blitz about to run out,
Radiant
so he'll back
structures
himself
like
off. The Courier runs through. They want to try to bring it down. All they need is one more strike, but the blink forward is not going to be in place.
There goes
Meanwhile, they lose a tier 2 tower. JSML is looking to chase, but he's going to be turned to stone, and now taking so much extra right-click damage. But meanwhile, it's going to be Kafka that gets pulled back from Furily. And again, being very efficient on this Pudge. Carito, though, looking for Forever, who is trapped way behind lines. He's got a Lincoln Sphere, but that doesn't quite help him. Can he get away, though? The Moonlight Shadow? No, Furily will bring him down with a hook. And he's not going to have another one for a short amount of time, but Aikio has no real escape route here. I mean, he's moving at the 364. The bash comes through in the Reality Rift, and they'll bring 4 down for nearly nothing. So Dire, just after they take 1 or 2 possibly favorable fights, will now immediately turn around and take one very poor one, which ends up giving the Radiant quite a bit as far as this game goes. Now, Forever is still farming the top of the board, but only by about 30 gold. You can actually see the experience graph shooting straight up, but curiously enough, the gold graph is still going down. Oh, no, never mind. It shot up as well. So we're finally passing those limits that we talked about, and now we're in excess of 5,000 net worth, probably about 5,500. And experience right about there as well. In fact, edging a little bit closer to the 7,500 mark. So, Carito, Shadow Blaze up. We'll scout out Forever and Piece of Shitsu. The blink forward from Piece of Shitsu, though, or the blink back, whatever the case, looks like they're both fine here. At least for now. Until they spot anyone out, it doesn't look like they found anyone to target their aggression with. Instead, just drawing a couple blanks, but now Carito will find Forever, will find PA is gay. They will chase him, but the Glimpse will put him up onto the high ground, where Furily and Cookie of Egg do wait for this kill, and they'll force staff up, but in comes Furily looking for the hook. Will actually pull in Forever, but he's got that Mana Shield, taking very little damage. Now Static Storm comes down onto the 3 of them. They're all silenced up. Everyone's silenced up, taking so much extra damage. But the first to go down will be Cookie of Egg. Kafka to follow, and then shortly thereafter, Furily will commit suicide. PA is gay, still safe for now. Carito Knight gonna chase, but he's got no more leap. He won't be able to catch up. And just like that, ends up being a 2 for 2 in that little skirmish. The Radiant, though, do they go for Roche here? They've got the Lone Druid with a Vladimir's offering. They most certainly could do it. Actually, multiple Vlads. Slark, as we talked about, how... Oh, yeah, that's right. Both Slark and Lone Druid had one. And JSML is going to pop in to the Requiem of the Phantasm. They find Sun Tzu, but the Moonlight Shadow will help get him away. And they got to figure out how they're going to fight into this one. They'll go ahead. They'll kinetic field everyone within this range. And now, they're okay. Reality Rifts in Aikio will bring him down. There's going to be the Chaos Bolt, and now PA is dead. Requiem comes out. JSML, though, will find a triple off the back of it. He's got the armlet, too, so he can possibly toggle out these tower hits, but he lets himself die. Oh, man. Ends up being a 3 for 1, but, I mean, that one, kind of a really weird kill. And a movement in through the bottom lane from Groudor. Maybe looks to continue trying to push out, secure some extra advantage, but I mean, right now the Radiant have once again pulled out to a pretty significant lead. You can see no longer is the top spot taken by anyone in the Dire. In fact, Meepo And quite the fall from grace, has gone from the top of the board to almost the bottom. And that's even after he got his Blink and his Aghanim Scepter. I guess feeling a little weak right now. He's got all of his Meepos at the ready. But I haven't seen him go for that one real big, quick, and devastating fight with devastating poop combo. Instead, it's been more of a restrained action on his part. But now, Dire, I think they've entered the turtle realm here, where defending outside of their base might not be the greatest idea for them. I mean, sure, they've still got some really great heroes, some really great fighting lineups, but Shadow Fiend hasn't tanked up quite yet. Medusa, only a little bit, but with one Ultimate Orb to her name, she still hasn't really tanked up that much. And even Meepo, even with the Aghanims, he's still looking pretty squish. And so they'll glimpse back to Pudge. Even though he tries to blink through his joint, it doesn't really work that way. And so he'll get locked in place. The Corito Knight will go for the leash, but the Force Staff away. And now the Static Storm will lock Corito Knight in. He can't do anything. The Stone Gaze will lock him down. Can they bring him down? They will. And comes JSML, though. Going to Reality Rift back in, but you can't do that in the middle of all the Meepos and all that Geo Strike, all that slow. They'll get another kill, a double for the Meepo. Still lower on the board, but that skyrockets Forever and Piece of Shitsu once again to the top of the board. And another really great fight for the Dire. Oh, okay. Kafka finds another kill. And it looks like maybe a dust was spent for that one. Do any of them have a gem? No, it doesn't look like that. But they did have a Sentry Ward here, which, I mean, Riki died right about there, so that's well in range of the Sentry Ward. And unfortunate for the Riki. Unfortunate indeed is Groudor as he gets glimpsed all the way back, for the kinetic field won't land. They will throw an arrow, and he'll walk straight into it. Oh, man, now Piece of Shitsu will be happy to bring him down after all that, and ends up being a wipe. A very elongated, very strange wipe, but a wipe at that. And so a tower will go down. Now, Furily, this is not where you want to be, and it looks like he'll learn that very soon. Twice over, Furily will get brought down, 35 minutes in. And the Dire are getting further and further ahead at this point. I mean, the top 3 net worth are all taken by them. You can take a look. I mean, the net worth is skyrocketed down. I guess the wrong word. Plummeted down in both gold and experience. Kafka, though, will get brought back. He'll get taken down. But the Static Storm will lock JSML in place. PA's Gaze got to be very careful, though. They've got the Stone Gaze, and that'll keep JSML within Stone form. All of his illusions are dead as well. He'll back himself out, glimpse right back, but underneath a smoke screen, it looks like a Cookie of Egg will find a kill in the meantime. On to Mr. Aikio. And so the Dire will lose 3 trying to push, but it still doesn't change the fact that that fight right before that was heavily favorable for them. And all they got to do is continue to pressure and put farm on their heroes, and I could see them easily wiping through the next couple of minutes, but if they're not quite able to successfully pull that off, if they lose another fight, then this could be that long, 60-minute game that we all dread to see, but at the same time prove to be like these really active games in the end. So I don't know, at this point we're looking at the Radiant kind of on a love-hate relationship with their advantage in this game. You can see them coming up and then going down, and then coming right back up, right as it's about to pass 0 in experience or in net worth. Experience not quite there, about 2,000 is where it will do it, but goes straight down and then comes a little bit back up. So let's see if they can get it close to where their lead just was, or if it stays at a very troublesome point for them. JSML will split push up. Phantasm on cooldown for 30 seconds, but he's got a Manta style, which will help spawn a ton of illusions. All of which, well, not all of which will deal full damage, but all of which will still hurt. So now, Furily will grab a Bounty Rune, though he's looking for one hero. PA's Gate was just a couple of steps to the north, but not quite in vision. Meanwhile, the Radiant will go ahead and take down the Roshan. 37, 38 minutes in is when our first Roshan happened, so pretty late in the game for this, but if anything, it's much needed. Though the Dire, they are close by. Do they even look to go after this one here? Roshan's just dying too damn fast. They don't even know he's there. They've gone in for the rune. But Roshan has spawned or gone down, and they know they're in the wrong spot. A Moonlight Shadow and an Invis Rune, but the dust will come out. The Lincoln Sphere getting popped by the Rally Rip, but he's still stunned. He is locked in place, and the Medusa cannot get out of there. Meanwhile, the Earthbind will come through. The Static Storm will lock in Corito Knight. They're gonna, oh no, JSML will pull in the Rally Rift on the PA is gay. They'll leap in. Aikio's dead. Now JSML looking for more. Wants PA is gay, but can't find him. Instead, they're going after Kafka. They isolated one. They'll bring him down. 3 dead. PA is gay now locked way in place, but the hook doesn't connect. And immediately, JSML will pop the Phantasm. But there's no real waves for them that have pushed in just yet. So it might be a little bit late of a Phantasm. They're still looking for more kills, though. So I guess, in the essence, it doesn't really matter. They'll send all the Phantasm Illusions up onto the tower, but you can't go through backdoor protection. They pop a Glyph, though, curiously enough. Still trying to go through backdoor protection. They're actually powering through it pretty quickly. If they had a... If they had the Slark, the Lone Druid, and the real Chaos Knight there, they probably could have gotten it, but... Looks like the tower will instead take a net 0 damage. Oh, but the hook! Firely will grab another kill! And Dire just falling apart at the seams. The hook will, or the arrow will fly through. Corito Knight taking a little bit of damage, but he's still fine. In comes Firely. They want forever. And it looks like they might just get him. Corito is very low, but you don't quite kill him. He's got an extra, what is that, 30? 31 Essence Shift on him? So now with 26 armor, with close to 280 damage, this Slark is now hitting pretty heavily. And so they've got the backdoor protection down. They'll go after their first racks of the game. There should be quick work for Grouter too. I mean, he's a lone druid. He doesn't really care about anything about buildings. I mean, his bear just does so much damage to them. So they get the tower, they get both racks, and even top is being pressured just a little bit. But the majority of the Dire will come back in soon enough. And so it doesn't look like the rating can continue pushing that much. The Slark will buy his BKB. And the Lone Druid Grouter now actually look for another kill. PA is gay is now in a lot of trouble here. He'll get brought down again. But Furily now taking a lot of damage from the Meepo. The Geo Strike ending up stacking very quickly. Corito Knight sitting in trying to fight. But he's got the Aegis. Gets brought down on the first run. Now round number 2. Looks like the Meepo's already there with all of his Meepos in tow. And they will bring down the Slark twice over. And again, the Radiant kind of having this love-hate relationship that we talked about. They get their advantage, they start to get a little cocky, and then they give it away. Though this time they haven't quite given it away. You can take a look, and yeah, they've accumulated about a 14,000 good net worth advantage, 20,000 experience advantage, but, I mean, any advantage is something that you can throw. So they've got to be incredibly careful about how they do this. Meanwhile, their courier will die by the secret shop. Ends up having, I guess, a piece of a Scotty for a piece of Shih Tzu and the Ogre Club for PA is gay. I imagine the Ogre Club being part of the Ginem Scepter. But the Eye of Scotty piece, that's really important for Shadow Fiend there. So, and I guess not the most important considering it was only the Orb of Venom. So, really, if that had the Orb of Venom and the Ultimate Orb on it, then you'd worry. But Orb of Venom is replaceable. 275 gold, yeah, so what? You can just buy that again. A Cookie of Egg, meanwhile, bottom lane. As we see Furily disconnect off this game this time. Okay. So, I don't quite have a good idea of why that just happened. But, whatever the case, our Pudge has disconnected. And that's being a racks up, close to being 2 racks up. This game just got a whole lot harder for the Radiant to win. With that abandoned, we can take a look at the gold, and it's going to drop pretty heavily considering Pudge. I guess he was, in the middle of the board? So yeah, that drops pretty heavily in net worth. Experience doesn't really take that much of a hit because, considering what just happened there, but it will start to take a hit as time goes on because that Pudge will now stop accumulating experience, but well, I guess net worth actually shouldn't go down considering it got split up between heroes, so that was a completely wrong, that was a misanalysis, and I sometimes, I make mistakes too, but in the end, Pudge will be gone. That whole aspect of fights is out of the picture. That scaling strength ultimate is gone. They even sell his items. They figure, okay, well, he just straight up abandoned. There's no use in letting that happen. So I guess that is a little bit of a dip in net worth as you lose half the net worth from selling an item. But regardless, that's 44 minutes and you don't want to lose one of the star players on your team. And of course, they've still got 4 very active, very powerful heroes. I mean, you're looking at a Heart of Teresk on the Chaos Knight. We're looking at Groudor with a Pipe of Insight. All right. That's an interesting item to build on a Lone Druid. I think mostly because you're looking for him to be sort of a carry in this game. And right now, is that... Okay, yeah, right now he's got a double Skull Bash. I guess it's a little carry. Oh, hold up. Kafka, they're just going to go in. They know Pudge is gone. They just want to fight this, and they take a fight. And they'll bring down JSML immediately. Groudor will also get annihilated. And just like that, the Dire, they converge, and they destroy. And I almost imagine that that's a devastating blow to the Radiant's morale here. So the Dire, they will push themselves up. Maybe try to counteract something, but they find, or at least they know Cookie of Eggs there. They'll pop a dust. They Earthbind forward, and they catch him. And this, well, this is almost certainly a very, very dead Ricky. Does he even have his Diffusal Blade up? He does. He probably could have diffused off that, that dust, but they had another one, so I guess that really wasn't an option for them. But just like that, the Dire will push forward, and you know, they could end this game right here. Considering 25 seconds is more than enough time for Meepo to destroy everything. And actually, 46 minutes in, that might be what happens. They use Pudge to hook in Kafka, but what does Pudge have? He's got little to nothing, and they'll bring him down immediately. Kafka, though, dropping low with one of his Meepos. He might send that back. He might actually die if he can walk by that Slark, but it looks like the Dire will not continue pushing this one. They leave Ikeo and PA's gay in very close, but they'll back themselves off for now. And this is the point where I guess Kafka is kind of wishing he had a Boots of Travel, but with that Tranquil Boot, he'll be able to back himself off, regen up, and oh no! JSML not looking to let them get away with this one. But can he really do anything about this? The Stone Gaze, all of his illusions will get destroyed. He'll be turned to stone, the Pipe of Insight, but what that's accomplishing, it's all physical. It's all trouble. They'll both get brought down again. With no buyback in sight. The Dire might be in a very commanding position here, though. Kafka, he might get brought down here. That's a very important kill for them. 90 seconds, he does have a buyback, but at this point, you don't exactly want to spend your buyback. Although, okay, he's going to spit in my face a little bit there, and I'll immediately buy back. Oh, wait, that's why Dorito Knight was trying to split push this one, but okay, maybe he actually might bring down Kafka. He's doing a lot of damage here, but in comes the Earthbinds, in comes the Hex, and it looks like, oh, he'll get the kill! 120 without a Meepo. And Piece of Shih Tzu also getting a lot of damage accumulated. Though no one else in the Radiant is alive to push off this one. That's still a very troublesome kill, given the circumstances. I mean, that's the main issue with Meepo that you've got. I mean, typically you talk about AoE damage being the counter to Meepo, but a lot of those physical single target heroes can actually be very good on him as well. I mean, you isolate one Meepo or you focus everyone on the one Meepo. Those Meepos are not like a hero in them, of themselves. They're very vulnerable. And a lot of the times, I mean, you can't really bank on the fact that your opponent would miss micro a little bit, but you can't expect each Meepo to reliably think on their own. And so that's where a lot of the issues arise with having that one person control all the Meepos is you have insane issues with keeping all your Meepos alive and, you know, and kicking. So this strike here will bring down Chaos Knight. That'll buy a lot of time for Meepo again. And, alright, a little bit of casual trash talk coming out from Piece of Shitsu, as I'm pretty sure the Dire, they want to win this one. They really want to win this one. And given that abandon that happened, they are most certainly in a commanding position to win this one. But it's still going to be a hard game for them. So it looks like Forever will now continue pushing this one on in. But the wraparound from Corito Knight maybe finds a kill onto him. We're 50 minutes into this game, and Corito will now reveal Vines Forever, looks for the leap, and the Manta Style isn't quite in time. Forever will get leashed right on in. I guess the Manta Style doesn't do anything there, but Corito doesn't have enough damage for this one. They'll try to Kinetic Field, lock him in, maybe drop a Static Storm, but they won't even be able to get that off. And so Pia's Gay will teleport immediately, leaving Forever alone. Boots of Travel, though. There's a bash on Corito. Can he find the bash? He'll get it. Second hit. And Forever, he'll be brought down. But on that same note, it looks like, what's this? Pia is Gay. Oh no, this is a disaster once again. The Dire, or this time I guess, the Dire losing a very important hero. And the Radiant regaining a little bit of confidence in this game. So the Dire, they dropped a Sentry Ward right around Piece of Shitsu. And this could be what they need to spot out Dota Cookie of the Egg, but he's got a Butterfly, which is a real issue for the Shadow Fiend. Considering no MKB, bringing down this Riki is going to be pretty tough. In fact, he may go for this kill. He's got a lot of damage between the Butterfly and the Diffusal Blade, giving him, what's this? 160, 158 agility. So 158 with backstab doing 1.25. We're looking at close to 175 to 190 damage coming out from that backstab alone. And of course, it is physical damage, so it will get reduced by armor, but it's still a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Corito Knight will grab himself an Aegis Immortality. Now, an issue with Disruptor being gone is this. Disruptor had an Aghanim Scepter, which his ultimate plus Ags is one of the most important things in this game for the Dire team. If they don't have that, they're missing half of their team fight. So I guess they better either hope that Disruptor comes back in this game by some miracle, or, you know, either figure out how to control him. I think maybe just drop him around. I don't even. She's got Desolator. Maybe you have to. Oh man, it's become a really big issue for the Dire now. I mean, Radiant losing Pudge is okay because first of all, it was a straight up abandon, so they were able to sell all this stuff and get a huge chunk of gold off that. But also, I mean, considering his late game presence, he ends up being a bag of gold, a very tanky bag of gold. Meanwhile, Disruptor is still a bag of gold, but one with a hugely powerful skill set. But it's going to be, oh, hold on, the Phantasm. Can Jason Mill do anything with Illusions? It's going to be a Requiem of Souls. They might bring down Cookie of Egg. Kafka's in, looking for Corito Knight. He'll pop into Shadow Dance. They pop the does, but doesn't find the Slark. He'll focus one Meepo, but is it enough? He's not doing quite enough damage. Still getting a lot of agility for this one, but it's not going to make a difference. The Aegis will pop. And now, does he still have that agility? He does not. With that Aegis, he doesn't have any extra damage.
hope the Dire weren't partial to
And
that
it looks
mid
like the
tower.
Radiant, they lose a pretty pivotal fight there, but it's not over yet. Groudor is in the middle lane.
Oh, good.
Dire still haven't lost anyone. In fact, in comes their savior, their living Jesus. It is the Disruptor already back in this game. PA is gay. Piece of Shih Tzu, though, just like that, will be traded away. Or will he? The Earthbind, locking Cookie of Egg, cannot chase any further onto the Shadow Fiend. He's still invisible, but the Shadow Fiend is alive. And Cookie of Egg, they don't have vision for him just yet. And actually, it looks like Corito Knight is looking to go off onto these buildings. Anyone of the Dire reacting to this just yet. They will pop a glyph, and now Kafka will make his way back down up towards the top lane. But they want the top racks. They know that's the one that doesn't regenerate. And so they'll bring it down. But Kafka's in. He's got a blink. Do they spend it? Forever's there as well. They're moving on in with Groudor, though. Still a blink on Kafka, but he's not popping it just yet. Just like that piece of shit, who's going to blink forward and grab the courier. But that'll be about it for now. Meanwhile, Corito Knight, joined by Cookie of Egg. Maybe they try to find a kill, but looks like at the moment, nothing. Dire still holding on to their base. Barely, but they're holding on. The Radiant missing their mid-racks, but still a tier 2 top. Bottom not exposed yet either with a tier 3 standing. And the Radiant will begin a slow siege up towards mid lane. In comes Piece of Shih Tzu, though. He's got the Eye of Scotty finish forever with that Manta style. A very nice item for him to have, but just like that, the Cookie of Egg and Corito Knight, they're split pushing. They're ratting this one out. Out from the cracks, out from the woodwork. They will be punished by Cookie of Egg taking the fall here. But is it really a punishment? One hero for 2 dedicated lanes pushing in, and Cookie of Egg has buyback. So Dire definitely getting the short end of the stick that time around. And, well, whatever he just said, I imagine it might have something to do with rats. They're locking Groudor, though. They're going to go in for the Stone Gaze. And, you know, when you've got that many people whacking at you at once, you just kind of have to sit down and accept your defeat. Meanwhile, though, JSML is looking for Forever, and Stone Gaze is down, so he can fight this one. Moonlight Shower, do they have any detection, any vision at all? Oh, no, they don't. Meanwhile, Meepo will buy a Gem of True Sight. So the arrow will fly, and JSML gets hit by the arrow. Though it's only about a 3-second stun duration. PA is in close by. Can he live to drop the static storm? He won't even live that long. Forever, though, is in close by. Piece of Shih Tzu with a BKB. Looking to fight. Forever taking a lot of damage. Mr. Aikio will get brought down. He leaps himself up to the high ground, but Piece of Shih Tzu will be the collateral. No buyback on your Shadow Fiend. JSML with a reality. He can't find the hook. But the rest of the Dire's buildings look like they will be brought down. And I think I might know that the Radiant, they may very well have won this game. And it seemed like just when the Dire could, oh wait, no, can they? In comes Kafa, Corito Knight doing some damage, but JSML is their big tank. Can he get taken down? Can the Dire focus enough damage? They will. He'll get brought down, and that is 90 seconds, so it does have buyback. And now is when the pedal hits the metal for the Dire team. They have to make something happen. As I lose all control of my camera.
What you see?
What the hell just happened to my camera? Alright, so my camera is apparently broken. Oh, there we go. Am I back? I'm back! Hell yeah! That is what I call production value, folks. So the pedal's hitting the metal for the Dire team. But can they really make anything happen for this? Crunch time, and with Mega Creeps all pushing in, it just becomes so damn difficult for them. I mean, especially considering the Radiant are all fairly tanky, and now they might lose Shadow Fiend again. They're looking for him. They find Forever, though. The bash on the Forever. The Requiem of Souls from Shih Tzu, though. They'll bring down Cookie of Egg, but it's a Medusa that takes a fall. 80 seconds. She is without buyback, but the Ricky down for 90, Slark down for 100. No buyback on either.
Dyer's mid tower could use a little help.
The mega creeps are no laughing matter, as opposed to what Cookie of Egg seems to think they are. And the Dyer's ability to push is still gimped pretty heavily. What is our Meepo considering? He's got one ultimate orb, so with that Hex, looking for a little bit more, he might be their only able pusher. Only able-bodied pusher in this game. For the Dyer, they'll still hang back. The Radiant, they'll still farm it up, approaching 60 minutes in this game with no clear, concise winner just yet, though we have a pretty good idea of which team is in the better spot. So the Radiant locked in. Slark showing adequate amounts of salt considering what had happened to him earlier in the game. Feeling betrayed by his big butcher guy there. What? I mean, considering it may have been one of the better things to happen to them. Again, Pudge is not that effective at this point. Okay, well, never mind. He's always effective, but they're getting a lot of gold off this. Their GPM, their passive GPM is really high, and Grouder's actually got a Shadow Blade. Is he looking to do what I think he's looking to do? He could very well be doing just that. Maybe if he grabs an Aghanim Scepter as well, he could just send his Baron to destroy, but I mean, Shadow Blade works kind of like Boots of Travel works, where you can be anywhere at once, both of your units can, but instead of scouting out with the bear, you have to scout out with your main hero. Anyway, the Radiant pushing up again, looking for one last opportunity. Now the split push option is still available for them. If they can get Lone Druid back behind the lines and split up the fight, maybe they can take him out one by one, but
Dyer's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
it's actually an Abyssal Blade that the Lone Druid decides to purchase. So one of his two Bashers will be upgraded. In the meantime, Radiant are looking to split the fight. Cookie of Egg is up close, but comes back. Do they have any vision for him? They do have a Dust, but he's well out of range of that. Now in comes JSML, looking to pull in, but there's a BKB at the Static Storm. Now JSML just turns his attention to the tower, but it won't be enough. No buyback. Ready, set, die. The Die Radiant are just losing everyone. They're dropping like flies. The coordination there just didn't seem, in tune. And they don't even lose the tier 4 tower. It's granted it's at 50 HP, but that is just turning out to be a pretty big issue now for the Radiant, as they aren't really able to push this. I mean, Medusa's essentially turned into a tower at this point, which by and large, a third tower, a dedicated tower, which is tankier than a normal tower, that's very good. And now Groudor, well, he's got a Shadow Blade. Well, Disruptor doesn't have Dust for 6 seconds, so I guess they don't find him, but still a pretty major issue considering. Oh, wait, no, he'll walk back in, he'll turn around, he'll bring down Piece of Shih Tzu. Will they be able to bring him down in tow? And it looks like they very much will. Groudor will take a fall without buyback. Everyone on the Radiant team is dead. I'm actually surprised that Dyer isn't pushing to end this one. I mean, I guess it becomes hard when you get split push in. As, okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Mega Creeps are no fun.
To that mid tower.
Medusa, meanwhile, will grab a Rapier. Oh boy. So Rapier number 1. And again, just a click right here if you're Medusa, and they won't ever be able to win. Ever. I mean, I guess now she really needs some form of lifesteal, which might be best, but the multiple sources of mana regeneration will help keep her alive, just because, the mana ends up taking more of a hit than your HP does. And another strength item for Chaos Knight, as he's approaching 3,800. Or closing in now on 4,000 strength. And I mean, what other strength items do you go? Maybe he just goes for an Eye of Scotty at this point. Maybe he goes for a Butterfly for some extra attack speed for some evasion on his illusions. Maybe he just goes for a BKB. I don't know. But at the moment, I guess actually it might be an Aegis Immortality, which doesn't exactly go very well on your Chaos Knight because once he drops everything, he's just another melee carry. So they will get it to the Ricky. Though a cheese goes on JSML, I agree with that a whole hell of a lot more.
As if I wasn't slippery enough already.
And the Radiant will once again try for this push. But Groudor's hanging back.
It's sundown for the Dyer's Ancient.
What exactly is going on with him? The Mega Creeps have pushed into the Dyer's Ancient. And the Radiant, do they go for their all-in? They pop all their Phantasm. Now here's where they split up the fight. They're moving all of their Chaos Knights in together, though. And now they'll go for the charge. They go actually for the kills instead of the towers. Now they lock all of the Chaos Knights in place, and they just bring him down. Cookie of Egg, JSML, they're both getting brought down too damn fast. The Aegis will get popped up forever, doing so much damage. And where's the lone druid in all this?
The Dyer's Ancient is
He could be attacking the Ancients. He could be their savior. Their number one. Their numero uno. Their capitan. I don't know. He'll come in finally, but
somebody's up at the Dyer's
what is his plan here?
Is this it?
I don't know. At this point, the Ancient's taking so much damage. All he has to do is to get up and hit it. But it's far too late for that now. He goes for forever, but that's not a kill you can attainably get, especially with the rest of his team close by. And so he'll walk away with about 100 HP. But the Ancient will stand. Another attempt will be thwarted. Though each time they get a little bit more damage, this building regenerates. The towers don't, so you can constantly chip those down and expect to reliably be able to bring them down after a period of time. But the Ancient regenerates. The Ancient will get itself back up to full HP in a very short amount of time. So just like that, the Radiant, they wait once again for everyone to come back alive before they can go again. And, you know, that's kind of where it has to be right now. I'm almost surprised, you know, considering where we're at in the game. The net worths are all relatively low. I mean, we're looking at a lone druid with a net worth of 2,500, and the items that he spent it on just don't really seem all that useful given the task at hand. And we're looking at Shadow Blades, Maelstroms, Bashers, all these sort of things which in theory are really good on both heroes, but that's not their objective right now. Right now, you need Desolators, you need Assault Cuirasses, you need Shiva's Guards to keep them off of you. You need ways to bring down the Ancient. Necronomicons, all sorts of things. And so just like that, JSML will be brought down in the top lane, and once again, the Radiant, they just can't push for an extended period of time. I mean, one coordinated push is all they need. They are one coordinated push away from ending this game. And the Dire, they're itemizing really well. They've got attack speeds. The Mjolnir is really good for defending waves of Mega Creeps. Do they have any Vlads yet? Okay, so the Vladimirs is the one place that they're lacking. They really need a Vladimirs on someone like Disruptor. But they've got Hexes, Force Staffs, ways to take fights in their base and not have to worry. They've got a tanky up front. They've got Hexes from Meepo. Our Shadow Fiend, we looked at him. The BKB helps with the Sky is huge. The Sanjin Yasha, But yeah, Mjolnirs, Vladimir's offerings, all these things that'll help them push out waves and waves at a time while still being able to take on your enemies. That's what you need from this game. So where do we go from here? I mean, we're 67 minutes into this game. We're committed pretty heavily into it. And I'm not totally sure when we will see the dramatic conclusion to this game. I mean, so far, what it seems to be is that we're just looking at a stalemate right now. In comes Karita, though. Pushing down the mid lane. Veg, though, wants to try to initiate. They've got a Lincoln Sphere pop on the Forever. 68 minutes in. And the Radiant need to make this work. Focus buildings. No, they're actually going to go for Kafka. They want to bring down the Meepo, but they're all caught in the static storm again! Jesus Christ! Meanwhile, Cookie of Egg is the only one going after objectives. Oh no. And once again, we're at an impasse here. I still think that Dire very much can push this one and end it. But, actually they ping out. They want to do that. They want to do just that. Meepo can definitely defend on his own. But it looks like they're going to have Piece of Shitsu and Meepo defend this one. Meanwhile, Medusa, does she have... Yeah, she does. She has her Scotty. Meanwhile, Mirana will buy a Divine Rapier. She could also buy a Vlad right now. But we'll have to see. So they'll move in. Down the mid lane. And they look to try to bring down the Ancient right here, right now. 30 seconds is their timeline, but they can definitely do it. They just need the creeps to get there. The creeps will be half the time spent. And this could actually be a big issue for them. They don't have their Wombo combo if they fight outside their base. Oh boy, this is an all-in for them. Actually, no, they've got one creep. They've got one creep. That's all they need. Backdoor protection's down. They go for it. The Dire, 10 seconds. Will it be enough? Mr. Aikio's up front. They bring down the wave. They get everyone in. The Desolator, it's dealing massive damage. The Rapiers dealing massive damage. 1 second, the hook misses. Oh no, and the Ancient is just getting demolished. GG, well played. The Dire, they hold on. And in the end, they are finally able to bring this game to a conclusion. So GG, well played. Thank you very much for the donation. This game, I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you really like this video, you can go ahead and follow me on multiple platforms. Again, this is the Golden Aegis Cast Series. I'm Chicago Ted. You can see all my information wherever you're watching this. If you want your own replay cast, you can go ahead and check the description of this video for more information about that. I also strongly recommend the site called dotacasters.com, which at the time of recording this is still under construction. But at the time of viewership it is open. I really recommend it for all of your replay and live Dota casted needs. So once again, thank you very much, and I'll catch you all next time.